Hey everybody, welcome back. We are going to be getting into another series soon. I see you've got a lobby up already. Do we have players already, or?
Nope.
Okay, just pre-hosting. Oh, because it'll be Dawson Station. That's right. But yeah, let's talk about what's coming up. So first off, today, obviously, you're watching the Corsair Cup. Going to play this out full to finish. I'm reading chat's reaction to our baby conversation.
Yeah, it was weird, man.
It did get weird. Tonight we're going to do the Lima League, and I know I kind of gave everyone the quick rundown of what we're doing for this, but there's going to be a real big gap in BaseTradeTV, and we're really trying to figure out what we're going to do about this, because for those who don't know, again, we're going to Korea after BlizzCon, so from November 3rd and onwards, we really don't have a lot of content. We'll be back for like a couple of days, which we're going to try and run the mod appreciation show match thing, but like again, for the most part, it's this crazy sort of, we're gone for what, November 3rd to the 7th or something like that. We come back, then we leave on, fuck, when do we leave? Like the 13th? I actually gotta look that up. I don't remember. But we're gone to Korea pretty freaking quick after. And I don't know, like it's gonna suck having like 2 weeks to possibly 3 weeks of downtime on the channel. I really hope you guys will stick with us through it, because obviously, like, going to Korea to do this is like a really cool thing, right? For us to cast live, to do bigger stuff. But at the end of the day, like, we got to come back to the channel. We got to keep doing content, and we're gonna try and do what we can to keep you guys entertained. But I fully know that like two and a half weeks of downtime that's coming up is gonna feel a little bit lame. So all those people who like new sub to us or regularly resub to us, like, thank you so much, and I hope you guys will stick with us through the upcoming downtime. But yeah, just so everyone is fully aware, there's gonna be a lack of BaseTradeTV for a couple of weeks. But it's nothing too dramatic, because again, like, we'll be casting the Lima League finals like on our channel, and you'll still see BaseTradeTV like online. But of course, there's the whole aspect of you staying around and putting about Korea for a while afterwards too. Hopefully, things won't become too difficult to keep up with.
Yeah, hopefully everything works out and I'm not just like totally screwed.
Actually, I guess do you wanna just TLDR your video for those who haven't already seen it? I suppose.
Sure. I think I've TLDR'd it before for you guys, but for anyone who missed it, I'm staying in Korea after a Lima League for a month till December 20th or something like that. And I'll just be living on my own. And hopefully continuing to cast BaseTradeTV like I normally do.
Yeah, I mean, the most difficult part for her is going to be the time zones, because it's a complete reversal of like what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, physically and mentally, so technically, but actually the biggest fear that I have is that like my neighbors will hate me.
Yeah, there's that point too. Yeah, it's like that classic thing. You got the woman below you like hitting you at the ceiling with her like broomstick, like, keep it down up there.
Yeah, I don't know what it's gonna be like. I mean, I've heard a lot of people tell me that it actually like doesn't even matter. Like, people are, Seoul is kind of like the city that never sleeps, is like this, like the cliche word for it and whatever, but I don't know. It just sounds like it should be a problem. So I don't know. People say it shouldn't be, but in my mind, it should be. I don't know what to believe.
I guess it's because it is kind of one of those things where you're like, man, I would be bothered by this, right? Like, I'd be really annoyed if it was me. And
who knows? Maybe it actually is amazing. I mean, I've never really experimented with my own room compared to like other people, like the people that I live with in my room, like, my house. But I think when my door is closed, it's not that bad. It's not like I'm shouting. I'm speaking with...
Yeah, I'm the one who shouts.
But
I'll get the shoutcraft part.
But I'm usually not shouting. So hopefully I don't mind someone just muttering to herself at like 2 in the morning. You know what? If they can survive pro gamer clicks and clacks on their like brown keys, then they're good. No, blue keys. Blue keys are the super loud ones.
Totally legitimate. Excellent point, Zombie Grub. You nailed it. So another thing I got to do yesterday was kind of cool. Prior to going to the Twitch Vancouver meetup, I met at my friend's house. His name is Guy Judge. He's a really awesome dude, and I guess he does a little bit of like indie game development stuff. And he was coming up with this thing for the Vive. And by the way, I have never really used full-on proper like VR before. My experience has been with like a Samsung headset thing, and it wasn't so good because my eyesight's not so good. But well, we played around with his game a bit, got to watch it, and I recorded some of this footage too on my own camera, so I'll have that in like a vlog for later. I got to play this game called Accounting. Have you heard about this?
Nope.
So it's from the people who do the Stanley Parable mixed with Justin Roiland, so from Rick and Morty. The voice of Morty, I guess, for those who don't know. And it's called Accounting. So you, for those who don't know the Stanley Parable either, have you played that, by the way, Zombie Grove?
Nope.
That is a game I would actually really recommend you try. I've actually got it on my Steam if you just want to play it for free and you only want to download it. But, like, man, it is a trolley-ass game is the point of it, right? So you get into this game, you get into this world, you load into the VR, and it's just it's an office. There's a fan going, there's, like, books, whatever. You start getting this call, and you have them basically tell you, like, oh, you're about to do accounting, first day on the job, great job, pick this up, do this, do that. Pull up the VCR, insert the tape, and in the VR, you get a VR headset, and you have to put on the VR headset in the VR, so like, you know, Inception style, whatever. And when you do, you get put in this forest, and then everything goes fucking bananas from here. You've got, like, the guy with Morty's voice yelling at you constantly for the next 10 minutes, just like increasingly louder, increasingly more like yelling, increasingly more mad at you like while you're doing things. And then you have to just keep finding these headsets and going deeper and deeper into this like Inception VR thing. You eventually kill this guy with a knife, and you have to dig out the VR headset from his heart. Like, it gets really dark and really like what the fucky. And I was literally like on the verge of crying because I was so stressed out from just all the yelling and the disgusting stuff. Like,
you're really gonna like the new Black Mirror season. One of the episodes in it.
Oh boy, super not stoked if you're telling me that after that description.
Yep, probably all like nervous on the train or the flight to this guy. Like, I'm freaking out, man.
Well, we have a series about it. Apparently, it's Billowy versus MaNa. Wasn't expecting this one, but hype PvP. Real quick note though, if any of our mods are willing to do the diligence to dig it, Guy Judge's channel, or twitch.tv/therealguy_judge. There's a VOD. Oh, shut up. There's a VOD of me playing the game. Unfortunately, some of the audio stuff's borked, but you can still hear me yelling and crying. I absolutely watched myself be a hot mess last night when I got home, and I'd say it's worth linking if anyone can dig that up for us. But hey, it's finally time to go. A lot of downtime killed, and we're gonna get into game number 1. Spawning here in the bottom right side, it's gonna be the orange whoa, I did it right! The orange Protoss Billowy.
What? In the top left, as the blue Protoss, he's MaNa.
Because every time I catch myself doing like the Rotterdam version, so saying bottom. Oh, what did I just say? No, I did it right, and I'm gonna mess it up again.
I don't even know. I still
the middle, bottom, right side, like bottom, middle, right side. There's 2 different ways to go about the order for it, right? Like, you put the bottom first or the middle first.
I don't know.
And that's
I
my
just say
point.
bottom,
like
right. I don't say middle.
Okay, my point of this though is like, for example, and I'm saying Rotterdam guys is more of like honestly just like a not native English speaker thing. Where I would say the top left, you listen to these guys do their intros or just talk, and they're like the left most middle, upper side or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I guess it is an interesting point. I don't think it matters if you're talking about direction and which order you put it. I don't know if there's actually a rule about left, right, up, down first. Left, right, up, down, A, B, A, B.
There actually is. I can't remember it though off the top of my head, but I remember learning about this in school.
Really?
Yes.
Because I know there's definitely an order that every English speaker knows, like inherently, basically.
Oh, yeah, the green dragon
color,
thing.
Size, yeah, that type of stuff. But I don't really remember being taught directions in their order.
Well, I mean, we were also never technically taught size, color, or anything like that. Just
that's true, but I did learn it in my foreign language classes, which is why I even knew it was a thing in English. Because they would be like, you know, don't say. Okay, I can't remember what they said. Don't say, but
see,
I used to.
School stuff. All right, so in this PvP, by the way, Billowy is Korean for those unfamiliar with the player, so he's coming all the way to the European server to play. It's such a horrendous hour. That being said, Keen, Alive, Billowy, Super, like there's a whole handful of players that keep coming out every week to the European Cups, and it wasn't until more recently we realized like maybe there's some hope to start doing more Korean content again. Because we basically retreated to Europe. I'm going to phrase it like that because it sucked that every time we did a North American event, almost no players signed up. When we did Korean events, almost no players signed up. And a lot of it had to do with Kespa saying no, everyone who's even on the B team has to reserve themselves for Pro League and can do nothing else. It was during our last cast yesterday. We even had like CJ and his bunny just join chat asking how to play in the tournament, how to play in the games. And I'm really hoping that like with people like Billowy in a live stream that they want to play these weeklies, and these other guys that are possibly able to play now, if we started doing Korean content again, the players would play it. And if they do, I don't mind throwing money at that. Hell, I'd take a loss on that just to make that happen.
Just throw money at it.
MaNa, by the way, treating Billowy like a little bit of a Terran. The pylon overcharge aggressive coming on the other side of the map. Billowy's pylon might not reach MaNa, but MaNa's pylon will reach the gateways. Not unless the mothership core goes down, though, so never freaking mind. Huge pickup out of Billowy and blunder out of MaNa. He does pick up his opponent's mothership core, so trading evenly, but for MaNa's sake, this was meant to be a really big attack, not a simple trade.
Yeah, I was focusing on Billowy's micro of his mothership core. I'm really surprised he lost it, because that definitely wasn't like a lag thing or a latency thing.
Agreed.
He pulled it back and then he didn't.
But I think you Jazz Thing SC2 for the 13-month resub.
Whoop. But yeah, you're right, like, they kind of traded out, and I don't know if it's really it's not gonna snowball, I wouldn't say, but MaNa getting some pretty good kills here. Missed micro from Billowy there, but he did rebuild his mothership core, so that should be it.
This is one of the things for MaNa, right? Like, this wasn't an attack that cut probes, this didn't sacrifice much, but it did mean the difference of a natural base or not. As he puts down 2 more gateways, MaNa's looking to dedicate to production and doing some damage and not take this game further. So there was a small period of time here where, honestly, if he wanted to recover and just go for an expansion and play this game out quote-unquote normally, he'd be fine with that. But, oh, these adepts with the scout are actually kind of important. They're going to see the rocks being torn down, and this will let Billowy know MaNa may be anticipating, or planning, rather, an attack to the bottom left and through this ramp down here.
Yeah, that is a very good point. That was a very important scouts. You see that they're producing another gateway, which isn't, like, too shocking, but they're the ones that committed a little bit more, and of course he's the... I don't really saw the Robo and the Warp Prism, but I think if they're going to do an Immortal push, then it's the assumption that they're going to do a Warp Prism as well, and he did see the Immortal, so he knows it's a Robo. But it's a trick! Didn't go in the back at all. Luckily, Billowy did not reposition his units, and he's, like, doing it right now. Thank God for his Observer. Go back to the front? Okay, he's good now. He's good now.
Yeah, I think the overcharge would have bottom time, too.
I think if he knew, like, if MaNa had an Observer and he knew there's something up there, then he would just snipe the pylon. But he doesn't, so his adepts have to shade in and scout. And Billy realizes now, like, oh man, maybe I need more pylons. Targets the Immortal, which just soaks it up. Barrier right there. Decent force field helps out a little bit. Not too much, not for too long.
It's a warper through that Warp Prism, too. But the gateways being depowered, that severely cuts into Billy's production. The Immortal's still not quite out yet. MaNa was trying to take those pylons so it wouldn't be, but there's 3 of them, so they should get the chance to finish. But this attack already doing some pretty nice damage for MaNa. But keep in mind, guys, it's not about trading once more. MaNa's pretty all in with this. It's 1 base versus 2.
Yeah. That Immortal should be focused firing on those Stalkers. It does. This might just be it for Billowy. It's a very powerful attack. Finally, the militia report can the boosted overcharge just kind of moves aside from it. He still got 2 Immortals. GG.
GG. MaNa takes game number 1. Very nicely done.
Yeah.
All right, now here's my blunder. You know what I forgot
Your
to
blunder?
do?
What?
Forgot to play commercials during the last break, so we gotta stick that ad in now, guys. We'll see you in 2 minutes. I'm so sorry. Alright, folks, we're back. Thank you for watching that commercial break. Again, sorry I kind of goofed that last one up. I hate over bombarding you guys with ads, because really, it's sad to say, like, ads don't make that much money for us, but they are still a necessity to play, so forgetting them is a pretty big deal. And thank you for helping me deal with that blunder. Anyways, getting into game number 2 in this best of 3 for the round of 8 of the Corsair Cup. In the bottom right side, we got the orange Protoss Billowy.
In the top left, as the red Terran, he is Liquid MaNa.
So real quick, before we get into the game, I would like to, of course, thank the people who make this possible, being Corsair. And if you guys want to help us thank them too and guarantee that we continue to get cups like this every week, do me a favor. Scroll down below and click on each of those links that have the little Corsair logo on them, because that's how they know the BaseTradeTV advertising is working. Let's be honest, Corsair has as much passion and awesomeness as they might have for StarCraft or otherwise. They can only afford to do it if it's worth their while. So check out their gear from the links down below. Look at the store, and hopefully you guys will get in on some stuff. We're working on some things still. I'm a little bit sad it's taking longer than expected because I keep promising these giveaways that just are getting pushed back further and further and further, but constantly bring this up every time I have meetings with them about trying to get more stuff for the fans. So yeah, keep an eye on the stuff that you could possibly win even in the future. Thank you to Nomac ASD.
Nomac ASD.
2 years I can't say your name. Freedom!
Did you change your name? I'm pretty sure you were in all lower letters.
Me?
He'll answer in like 3 minutes.
Oh, him. Okay.
Yeah, you.
Cause like I didn't type in chats. Why are you asking?
I have not paid attention to the capitalization of your name ever. I'm pretty sure you capitalized the R.
Oh, I just meant BaseTradeTV's always been like all caps.
Oh.
Test.
No, not an account.
So a little bit unrelated to StarCraft, but I do want to actually voice a message I read on Twitter last night. But I kind of realized like I've been in this situation myself on Twitch, and I definitely know we've had a couple people who have also been on the other side of this. But I can't remember which streamer was tweeted this message. It was a really nice message, but the TLDR version of it is, if you guys ever like are sub to the channel and your sub runs out, I don't ever want you to feel like too ashamed to come back. Your viewership and you joining in on the chat and helping build this community to be as awesome as it is, that's what Zombie and I really value when it comes to BaseTradeTV. So it's just like a generic message. Like if you're out there, you're worried that you can't afford your sub's about to drop, I don't want you to not come back to the channel because you feel like ashamed of it for some reason. Like just be you guys. We're really glad you tune in.
Yeah, I'd never considered that, but I guess that would be...
It's one of those things that feels like it should go unsaid, but you know what? It needs to be said once in a while, I think.
Well, thank you to Maroon Pirate for the 12-month resub. That qualifies you for Partoof. Love how passionate you guys are. Like during downtime, every day BaseTradeTV is live. It's an amazing day. Coming home after a shitty day and seeing that BaseTradeTV is on simply makes my day. Thank you for doing this and to another great year.
Cheers,
that was
Maroon
a very
Pirate.
nice message.
That was a very nice message. Good. More things that don't necessarily need to be said, but feel nice when you hear them said. Thank you for keeping with the theme of the 3-minute delay that you didn't know was coming.
Yeah. Well, the dynamic of this game should be a lot different than last. I mean, they went from a 2-player super close spawn to Frost with cross spawns is the longest map that you can really get in this map pool this season. Well, in last season they didn't change any seasons, but you know what I mean. Basically, since Dusk Tower got kicked out, so. It shouldn't have been some type of cheese. It could have been, okay? You can never underestimate that. Just like in TVT, you can go for a 1-base build if you really want to on a cross spawn. I think in PvP, you can also try and hide like a Dark Shrine anywhere, right? Like, you don't need a lot of room to do that. In fact, the more room is probably the better. But I would definitely expect the Nexus to come down. I think they both did. So Billowy losing like those 2 first Adepts, not the biggest deal. This game should go on for a little while longer. I don't know where Billowy's probe is going, though. Either it's still on shift-click from scouting, which would be amazing, or it's going to come back later. I mean, this doesn't feel like it's going to be a proxy or a hidden something, but sometimes it is just like they put the scouting probe somewhere else and hope to kind of sneak in later.
It's also not too bad just to have, like, I mean, I guess it's not common anymore. I used to really enjoy watching people like Huck, scatter pylons around the map. Just have them for warping different angles of attack. I mean, it's slow warping, sure, but it's still a different angle that you warp in top left, bottom left, instead of just the main base. Sure. Forster tries to catch the Adept, a little bit awkward because it doesn't, but he does keep too many probes from dying, so hey, MaNa, good job.
That's another 2 Adepts. It's 4 Adepts total loss for Billowy. Not exactly worth it, but again, probably not exactly terrible, as the game will go on for a while longer. There's no immediate follow-up with an Immortal push, which still would have been difficult to execute perfectly on cross, but is possible off 2 bases. I'm a little worried, though, still for Billowy. Again, the depth I don't think is, like, too big of a deal, but just going for Blink when your opponent's going for Immortals already, and it's not like it's huge Blink Stalker all in, you don't have overwhelming numbers, can be a little scary, because if you mess up and they counter you, it can be very difficult to hold. And he's getting Immortal now as well, so they should be pretty even on the Immortal count. The War Prism coming through here, and the probe's still not doing anything, but one day it'll be a Grandmaster or something. I don't know. It'll do something one day, I swear. But the War Prism probably has a lot more potential to do something. It could have been the 4 Adepts he lost going into that War Prism, but it'll probably warp in 4 more.
Feels bad, man. Don't point that out.
Yeah. Well, Billowy gonna do a little bit of a cut attack. Multi-pronged attack. There we go. Well, what? No, wait a minute. He could just use the warp prism for reinforcements, and he's warping in stalkers too. I really don't know about this. Like I was saying, MaNa's already producing immortals, so he'll have a second immortal by the time this pushes in. He really will have to do some fancy footwork with the Sentry force field.
Yeah, and there's a small timing here where Blink's available for Billowy, but it's not for MaNa. But that really may not be too big of a deal. Now, both players try to snipe the observers, and it's way more important MaNa had picked off his opponents. Really sucks having lost his.
Well, MaNa probably has an idea of what's happening. His Adepts scouts, of course, the army, but as well as the sentries there, and he knows that there's a chance, having not picked up the observer, the Blink Stalkers will come up to the main, and the sentries can cut his army in half, or just keep it completely away from the natural. So he's going to be very careful with this.
Yeah, the force fields can ruin everything. I mean, MaNa's pretty quick with his Warp Prism micro, I gotta say. We've seen this a million times in the past, so getting around a bad force field I don't think is out of the question, but it's still going to be difficult. Overcharges go down. Force fields happen too. Billowy's on cooldown because he did blink in aggressively. He's going to lose some stalkers for it. Immortals are shipped to the front lines, but maybe a little bit disastrously. No, he picks up on that left side. Warp Prism gets focused down by another very aggressive blink. MaNa's still trying to hold on to this. He's got +1 weapons. He's got a pretty good army supply, and he's really starting to push this back.
I just don't think that Billowy pushing in like that was the way to go. Blinking forward and then not being able to retreat, I think he might have lost this game.
Yeah, with the Immortal coming down the middle of the map, the hammer that drops on top of these stalkers as each hit goes. MaNa, I'm not sure if he's going to go for a full-on counterattack or not. Blinks on top of the Immortal, trying to pick it off.
Very nice catch. Very important catch as well. That's hidden the behind the Adepts, but I just tap out anyway.
It's still going to be... Yeah, there's so many stalkers. I think he probably eventually clicked and saw that +1. MaNa was just ahead in a lot of different regards.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's that. MaNa advance on to the semifinals.
I just realized, by the way, with no lights on in my room, it looks like it's midnight in here. The only light coming off anything is the monitor. Okay, that's one of the semifinals matches, almost queued up and good to go. I guess he can go play ladder or something if he really wants. It's going to be a bit of downtime before we get 2 said semifinals matches.
Yeah. I feel like Guru and Raynor should be done by now.
Yeah, maybe.
Live's messaging me.
Oh, maybe him and Keen haven't started yet. I see him out of game right now, too.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They definitely advanced to each other before, but maybe they... Okay. Okay. Alright, we'll get into that then.
Alright, cool. Well, then we'll just cut this with a quick break before we get into the game, guys, and we'll see you soon. Actually, ask them if they want to go to Korea. Like, what? 2 Koreans playing on Europe makes no sense. So we gotta do some server swapping, too, and we'll be a few extra minutes, guys. We'll see you soon.